Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your full-time show with me, your host, Martin. Thank you for joining us all and making us a part of your afternoon. What a result that was then, ladies and gentlemen. 3-0, comfortable result. Two for Sears, one for Chambers. Town never really leaving third gear, you felt. And as Mick Mills excellently summarised there towards the end, if Bristol Rovers have finished strengthening, you may fear for them a little bit, because losing Johnson Clark-Harris has left a little bit of a void. Now, of course, I will be joined by my two friends and colleagues, Rob and Amy. But we also want to hear from you guys. I do not expect it for 1 minute to be as busy as the West Ham game. A 3-0 comfortable home win isn't going to be as busy, but we want to hear from you guys, okay? This is your platform to have your say. You can either jump into the comments section across Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, or you can come on the show directly like this. You can speak to me through the visual, or if Amy says hello right now, you can come on and say hey through like a radio if you like. You know, you haven't got to come on the screen and be seen. But a comfortable 3-0 win there, Amy. Never leaving third gear.
No, absolutely, making it look easy, didn't we? And I have not felt any excitement about the start of this season. I went live with you on fixture list day, didn't I? And normally that's my favourite day of the year. And you know, part of it is because I've no idea when I'm next going to get to go to a football game, and that's hard. But I just wasn't bothered about this season. I didn't think we were going to do anything. But I'm not going to be a knee-jerk reaction fan and completely change my mind off one game, but that gave me a little bit more hope, made me feel like it might be worth, signing in next week to watch it.
Fantastic stuff to hear. Rob, are you feeling more confident than we started the afternoon?
Yeah, I think we knocked the ball around very well without really ever being challenged. I think there'll be bigger challenges, but we took control of the game. We kept control of the game at all times, really. It was quite comfortable, really, to be honest. But I like to see there was a few times where players didn't take the easy option, didn't pass back, they turned and tried to make things happen. It was good to see them be comfortable on the ball, and honestly, it's just nice to see us not lose control of a game. It happens so often.
It does occasionally, and as Mick Mills did excellently again. I thought Mick Mills it was really nice to hear him back. Actually, I've missed Mick Mills. He said excellently, really. If it goes 2-1, it's game on. 3-0, it's game over. And the moment Sears got that second goal of his, it was game over. If we just jump into some comments here, we've got the Cruncher, send me the link. That is sent, my friend. Hawks going up, Amy. 100 points, 100 goals. Again, here's on Rob when Town go up. Good result.
Another lie again.
Good result with so many players still to come in. We have a solid base to build upon.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Eric Clacton, he's still driving home. Dozell looked really good. Amy pulls a face. Don't agree with that.
No, I didn't think he was any better in the second half. Quite happy to accept that people have different opinions, but he was given the ball. There was one moment where there was an opportunity for him to put Judge in, I think, and he overshot the ball, and Judge chased it. But it was like maybe it's lack of experience. I don't know, but there was, that could have been another goal there. And I'm being harsh, but there wasn't many mistakes today, and there wasn't many mistakes today, and the ones that I did notice definitely featured Dozell for me. But he's got a lot of making up to do from the games I've seen him last season. So
I've got some comments here on Facebook. Speaking of different opinions, Danny Castleton, how can anyone miss Mick Mills? Okay, I've missed him. We haven't had that much exciting football for years. Bill Old, Joe Foster, good performance, much tougher tests to come. Roll on next week. Yeah. Gary Willingham, good solid performance. And Chris Bennett, we're literally pissing League One. It's ridiculous. I asked on Twitter and on Facebook, are we back in 2014? Chambers and Sears goals, good start to the season. Obviously, this week's been a funny week if you've been following along on social media, because Paul Lambert has been sacked more times than I can possibly ever remember. There's no chance he's being sacked within 6 games. I've always said that. But as a fan, starting the season, Rob, are you more confident with Lambert in charge, and are you more confident going into Wigan next week?
I think in the longer term, beyond today, we're going to need the players missing that are back. We're going to need them back, to make a real difference in that league. Like, I mean, yes, Chambers at right back did okay today. Fair play to him, scored a goal. He's always got that in him. But I do think that we need Vincent Young there. If we're going to be serious about challenging, we need the front two there. I thought Drennan was tidy. Sears did well, sort of joining in the attack. Even Hawkins, put himself about a bit. I think if you can get the ball into him, he's going to probably win more in the end than Will Keane. Not sure that's the biggest achievement he'll ever get to, but I think we need to get those players back. Really, I think I don't know. I thought Bristol Rovers midfield was pretty tidy, honestly, but
they were very. I thought they were very lightweight.
They were lightweight, so we're lightweight in midfield. We haven't got anyone that bosses in midfield. I didn't really think we had today. We haven't had for ages.
We really haven't.
Do worry about it in midfield. When we got the ball, we look tidy. We're gonna keep it. We use it. Everyone interchanges, moves about, shifts positions, some nice triangles and stuff. But I just worry about us out of possession. I really do. I think we're lightweight out of possession.
We are a little bit, and maybe that's where Amy was saying at half time that we miss someone like Cole Skuse. Just to reiterate sort of the opinion Dozell has of the fan base, the new gardener there, as you can see, sorry Amy, Dozell was very good and that flick he did under pressure was class. However, on Facebook, you've got people saying Dozell is sluggish. I have to agree. So again, even in a 3-0 win, the opinion is split. I'm just going to drop out Amy and Rob and bring in one of our fans here, Mini Cruncher. Thank you for joining us. Of course, it's your platform, guys, so you can ask for a link and get involved as this young man has. What are your thoughts following that rather comfortable 3-0 win?
Well, we all played well.
Who was your standout performer there? Who do you think really did well?
I thought Bishop played quite well, and Sears obviously played quite good, and Chambers.
He did. Against Arsenal on Tuesday, would you keep the same lineup, or would you want to see maybe another young player like Corey and Darber get a chance?
Thing is, we could take. I thought Toto played quite good today, so I don't know whether taking him out the squad would be good or not. So, we'll see.
What is the opinion of our mini tractor fans about Paul Lambert after today's result? How do you feel more comfortable with Paul, or more confident with Paul Lambert in charge, or are you still a little bit skeptical, a little bit unsure?
I'm a bit unsure. He's not the greatest, but then he's not the worst.
No. Who would be? I won't ask you that question. Amy, you've got a mini tractor boy here. Comfortable win. Do you agree with him about Toto keeping him in the side?
I think you need to have him on more. Maybe get rid of his dad.
Well, yeah.
Have Mini Cruncher on more often. I think I agree with everything you're saying. I think you've expressed yourself very well there.
Yes, you really have. Thank you very much for coming on. And again, I think Amy's right. You're much better than your father. But guys, it's really that simple. That is how you get involved on this platform. If a mini cruncher can do it, anyone should be able to do it. He made a good point there in regards to Toto. Does he deserve to start again Tuesday night, or do you want to see Corey and Darber?
I think I said it earlier on, didn't I? I want to see the team that play today. I'd rather see them play on Tuesday and next Saturday as well. I want to get a bit of consistency. So yeah, absolutely. We were watching out for the big clangers today, weren't we? Because we're used to them from good old Toto, but there weren't anything today that majorly worried me. I don't think yeah, absolutely out of its place, I would say.
First half, Rob, there was an incident, wasn't there, that you weren't quite happy about?
Yeah, I think it was that could have cost us perhaps on another day with a more potent strike force. I think it probably would have cost us, but overall, yeah, that was his only mistake. Personally, I would play him and Ndaba together on Tuesday. Because it's that competition is exactly where if we're gonna try and get legs into the youngsters, that's where we should be doing it. So yeah, I think that's how I do it. And then, well, I don't know. I would probably maybe we should persist with Wolfenden and then Ciala as a centre-half pair going forward. Where Chambers comes in, I don't know.
You'd persist with that, would you?
Well, to be honest, I've not been Chambers fan for a while. Don't think I'm alone on that. I do feel that he's in the team largely because there is no other captains, which obviously you do need another captain. We all know that, but I don't think there's any other leaders on the pitch. But I also, we've all seen him concede a goal, especially at the North Stand sort of end. And one minute he's pumping the crowd up, then we can see the goal, and he's completely silent with the other defenders. So, leadership is obviously his strong point, but I don't think in the last 2 seasons we've seen he's led particularly well.
Do you think?
And I do think that in that Lambert team, he's the only player that's kept his position for 2 years. So
also on Chambers, there was a moment where was it when Wolfie got booked? I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to load up show my notes. There was a moment where Mick Mills said Bristol opened us up. We looked like they caught us asleep then. And then about 2 seconds later, we realised it was because Chambers had stopped, pulled up injured. And he said there was nobody there to cover for Chambers. Now, my feeling on Chambers is half the reason I think he doesn't always play his best is because he's playing 2 or 3 different positions because he covers for whoever is right back. And that, I think, that is part of his leadership as captain. He will cover for the Kenlocks and stuff. And the amount of times I've seen him covering for Kenlock, I think Forest, our game against Forest is the one that I vividly remember, where he's doing that role as well as his own. So sometimes he does get... So it was interesting that when he pulled up injured and he'd sort of been out of the game momentarily, there was no one there sort of backing him up. And that, for me, is another reason to have him in the centre back. But after seeing today, I was happy with him at right back, to be fair.
I think we do. I see what you mean. I think ideally you want a situation where your left and right back are comfortable enough to do the job without anyone covering them. I do think with Ward and Vincent Young we've got that. But I still don't see any other leaders in the team. I don't see another captain in the team really. I don't know if you guys do.
Wolfie?
Stephen Ward.
There you go. 2 suggestions which we don't agree on straight away. So I don't know. You could maybe either of them. Probably those are 2 of the more favourable candidates. Perhaps in a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, you might have said Downs.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yes, potentially. I mean, there's no guarantee he's going to go, but there obviously is big. Where there's smoke, there's normally fire. If we jump to some of the comments, we've got I rate Paul Lambert, but don't have my full confidence. Thought Lambert looked on his interview yesterday or day before like he'd just gone through a world war. That's what a manager looks like after 60 games. Yeah, he had a bit of a Roy Keane sort of vibe going on with the beard, didn't he? Because remember back when Roy Keane was in charge, if the beard was bushy in full, the rumour was he wasn't necessarily very happy. Yeah. He said he had the shaven look going on. We've got Sears and Drinnan looked good. Talk to me on Aaron Drinnan, because he didn't grab his goal. He had his chance to and should have done, but didn't. But did he do enough to really cement a place on the bench Saturday if everyone is fit, if Jackson is fit, if Norwood is fit, with Sears now firing? Has Drinnan done enough today in your minds? Amy?
Maybe give him another go Tuesday and see how he goes, but I would absolutely. If Norwood isn't 100% fit, surely you'd want Drinnan, who was. I was impressed with him, and I know he didn't have a goal, obviously, but as Rob pointed out, he had a few assists in there, didn't he? Obviously he set up the first goal, but he was also in there passing the ball around a lot. I think there was a couple of times where I thought, you could have had a shot there, and he didn't. He passed it to another player, and we kind of need that, actually. We missed that without Didsey, don't we? Because Didsey was the one setting up the play all the time, and we haven't got that now. So I'd give him a chance, and I didn't know anything about him before today. So
no, Rob, Drinnan's running in behind was a particular threat to Bristol Rovers. I
think, they sort of seem to struggle with him, perhaps more than I thought they would, if I'm honest.
Yep.
But what I was going to say is I do think Lambert sees Sears as a one of those many sort of wide players. I don't think he sees Sears through the middle.
No, I don't either.
So I do think that Drinnan probably is number 3 striker, probably now above Hawkins and behind Jackson and Norwood. So you have to say if number 1 or 2 isn't fit, he's straight in, I would say. I still think we're weak up top. We're short of options up there, but as it stands, if they're not fit, he'll be starting, I think.
Yeah, I do agree with you in terms of Sears' position. I think today, if Lambert definitely, definitely saw Sears as a central striker, he would have played him there, with Drennan only being the real fit striker he had left.
No, you said you would have seen him today if ever.
Yeah, because you had Lancaster there who could have played 45, and then Edwards maybe could have played half an hour. You had options out wide, whereas Sears was played out wide. Sears is an interesting player for me because he's not necessarily your direct sort of winger, but he seems to get the job done.
Yeah, it's sort of almost developed into it, hasn't he? I think Mick McCarthy's to blame for that. He made a fullback out of all of our strikers. And Varney was another one. So yeah, I think he's definitely changed his game. And now I think, that's probably where you'll see him play for the rest of his career. And he does seem to pop up with a few goals. I think just before lockdown, he scored up at Blackpool from left wing, coming in on that right foot. The classic sort of left winger, but coming in on his right foot.
Yeah.
And it does seem to work a little bit.
It does. I would have liked to have seen, just back to Drennan, I've just seen Alan Flatt's comment there. And I love the Brett Favre reference, by the way. I think that's brilliant. I would have liked to have seen Drennan grab his goal when the chance came. What did we make of Ollie Hawkins? Because a couple of people on Facebook didn't necessarily rate his performance. I think I saw one that said he's the slowest player I've ever seen. I wouldn't have gone that far. But do you feel when Hawkins comes into the team, do you feel we naturally just go long all of a sudden? Because I felt we were playing really nice patches of play, really creating opportunities. Hawkins came on, and through no fault of Hawkins, the ball suddenly was in the air a lot more.
It's reminiscent of Murphy, isn't it? That's what we used to do when Murphs was in the team. We'd lob it up front and see where we could go.
Those are the days.
Even Murphy was
long ball, eh?
Even Murphy was, you couldn't, when he came in, you probably would have heard similar comments, I'd imagine.
Yes.
He wasn't quick, was he? He wasn't quick, wasn't powerful, wasn't deadly. Pretty much all the same things.
Murphy wasn't quick or powerful.
Not to start with. Come on, we all know that he was in and out, on loan, off loan. He scored some goals, but I mean, he had 1-2 outstanding seasons, and I think we're all quite surprised. He was playing left wing before that. Yeah. I don't know, not comparing the two, but I thought Hawkins already put himself about more than Will Keane did in most of the season in 12, 13 minutes, whatever it was. I do think he looks like the kind of player, he can head a ball. It looks like he's going to be able to head a ball and put his weight about. We're in League One. We're not Barcelona here. We need a player like that. We tried to make Will Keane that and failed. So I think he'll be a useful tool for us. Yeah, and even if he can just head corners away, then he'll be doing better than some of what we had previously.
You really don't like Will Keane, do you?
No.
I'm getting that. I'm getting that today. Lou and Stu Hayden. Sears' best position wide left and a front three. Drennan better movement than Hawkins. And if Hawkins plays, we rush to get it forward and the good football will suffer. James New. Hawkins just seems immobile. The rest of the team have to play around him, but he can't just slot in like the others. Do we agree with both of those points?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think he needs to be up there with someone.
So a foil for somebody else.
Well, yeah, I think he needs to be. If he's got a partner, as it was, he came in. That system suited Sears. It suited Drennan. It suited the right winger. Whether it's, that's why I prefer to see Guill and Edwards if we're going to use him. It suited all three of them like that. But if you get Hawkins on, you need someone with him. So I'd imagine that you probably more likely see Hawkins as a replacement for Norwood or Jackson as when one of them's out of the team or is substituted or whatever. That's where I think you'll see Hawkins.
Yeah, Amy?
Yeah, totally agree. And it's no bad thing. Having a substitute that can come on at, knowing Lambert about 80 minutes and, bring some fresh energy and some fresh legs. And Norris is clearly not 100% fit, is he? So it'd be nice to have somebody to switch, like to replace him for a bit. I agree. I totally get what you're saying. I think you're bang on that he probably needs Hawkins probably needs someone up there with him, but I'm not a fan of having one up front anyway. So to maybe jump in with, I started to think maybe him and Jackson could be quite good together because Jackson's all over the place, isn't he? He works hard. Yeah,
that's an interesting concept because you've got Jackson, who's obviously electric with his pace. You've got Hawkins that quite clearly, eats space, and I mean that in the nicest possible way because he just takes up space and drags players with him through his height and potential of being dangerous. So you then have that issue, don't you, where Jackson could exploit that with the pace. Joe Thompson asked a great question, and I'll ask you both to do sort of a minute or two summarization. If somebody said to you, as Joe Thompson just has, is how did they play? I'll let Amy go first. What would you say to somebody who's asked that question? How did they play?
Better than I was expecting. It still feels like pre-season, so to going in today, I wasn't expecting much. I'm not a fan of us having cup games to play with this year. I don't think we should be, but anyway, that's a conversation for another time. So they gave me hope. I think they played with control. I think they played with confidence, and we know we've been lacking confidence since Mick McCarthy, haven't we? So it's nice to see that hopefully brewing again. I just hope that Lambert doesn't ruin the confidence by messing with it again like he did last season.
Well, we'll come to that very soon because I'm sure there'll be a different team for Tuesday. But Rob, how would you tell somebody if they text you saying, how do they play?
I thought that we knocked the ball about. We proved that we can play football, but I think probably most of us knew that already. I still think we've yet to see us, to get out of League One, much like to get out of the Championship, you've got to go into the trenches, man. You've got to be willing to go to battle. Be under bombardment for 8 minutes of injury time and all that jazz. You've got to be heading balls, making tackles, and we didn't see that side of us today because it wasn't that game. So yes, we knocked the ball about, and if someone wants to play football against us, I think we can outplay them. We've got the players to do it. But we had those players last season, and when teams play football against us last season, we've knocked it around well as well. What we need to do is show that we're up for it, we're up for the battle, and we can do it for 46 games. So did we play well? Yes. But there'll be harder tests. I'd expect there to be harder tests. If that's the best that League One's got to offer, then
yeah. So are we kind of shifting focus in terms of where we think we may be a little bit short? Because coming into today, before Drinnan had a good game, you may would have said short up front, maybe at centre half, etc. But I'm getting the sense from you both, and maybe you can both tell me if I'm right or wrong, that you feel like you're missing a hard man in midfield. If Downs goes, a cruncher. To excuse the pun, somebody who's going to be in and about bombardment, going to be able to lead the troops. Is that what I'm getting from both of you?
You both in Scoos.
Definitely. We once had it in Scoos, but I think we're missing it if Downs goes for sure. I don't see any of them wanting to make really a hard tackle. Even if you do put Scoos in there, you can't. You don't want him in there for 46 games a season. I think, as I said, I want to see McGavin play more anyway than him. So I do think we're going to miss a hard man in midfield, and I don't really see anyone in the squad that could take over that mantle, with the exception of McGavin. That's only because we've seen none of him. So next to none of him. He's the only player that's unjudged.
Danny Castleton has just suggested bringing back Luke Heim as our first one of this season. Let's see how many we get this year. Alex Griffin, up the Ipswich, Drinnan and Sears could actually work. And then we've got Christy over here on Twitter, encouraging, but there's going to be tougher challenges. A good start nonetheless. A lot of love for Drinnan. How do we feel about Alex Griffin's suggestion there that Drinnan and Sears could actually work?
I don't think it's a front two. As a two, I'm sure they can work with both playing. Do you know what I mean? But I think we need as a front two. Sears is best from that wing now. I think he's proved it. He's proved it whenever he's played well in the last few years and been fit enough and played well. He's had his best games from that wing. So I think that's where you use him. And to be fair, Drinnan in that sort of central role by himself, he linked up play really well. As long as people get past him from midfield and get into the box when he's linking up, then I think that can definitely work.
Amy?
I can't really add to that. I think you're right. I think part of me prefers Sears up front. I'd rather see him just playing up top because he hasn't always got enough out of the game when he's been on the wing. But that clearly, this is what third manager now that has wanted him on the wing. So that clearly is his position.
Yeah.
In which case, it's not. Rob's right. It's not going to be him and Drinnan up front, but it's interesting and it's always an option. And how nice it is to have these options up front because we haven't had that for a while, have we?
No, and once everyone is fit, the squad does look a little bit better than some give it credit for, me included. Joe Foster, I think someone has got a crush on the Silver Fox. I don't know if you want to come back to that one, Amy, or
I'm glad you said Amy there. Jesus Christ.
Who's the Silver Fox?
I think he means Cole Skews.
Oh, I love Scoos. How can you not love Cole Scoos? He's wonderful.
David Pascoe.
That needs another. You need another piece of paper for that one.
David Pascoe.
I'm with you. Me and my friends were talking about this before the start of the game, and we were like, Chambers, Scoos, should they be in the team? And what we did agree on, because obviously we disagreed on Chambers because I said yes and they said no. But what we did agree on is you can't have both. You can't have Chambers and Scouse. One of them, fine, but not both. And if we've got to pick between the two, it's Chambers for me every day. So I do love a bit of
What a
Scouse, though. I
choice.
miss him.
What a choice.
Yeah.
What a choice. Rob?
For me?
Do you want to save it there? I'm
Yeah, I think for me, I would choose Scouse, to be honest. Especially if Downs going anyway. If Downs is going, I would have Scouse as.
True.
I think if Downs goes, you'll see a lot more Scouse than if he stays.
Okay, 4 more comments from Twitter. Well, one from Twitter to 3 from YouTube. David Pascoe was pleased to see smiles on the players' faces after the third goal. James New, Town need to offload 2 or 3 central midfield players. David Pascoe again was pleased to see we reduced his performance and result against another League One side. And Christy with a fantastic comment here. Love it. Was that a side that wasn't playing for their manager today? Can I have some responses to that, please?
I would say it looked like they were. He's wants this sort of style of football or such like, doesn't he? That's the way he sort of set it out, and that's what he's been quite clear on that, I think. And you have to say that they followed it. But like I said, I still want to see what happens when we're under the cosh and we have to go into the trenches a bit. That defeat at Lincoln was a right mess when we tried to play football. So we need to be able to adapt if we're getting hammered. By playing that football, we need to be able to adapt, and that's probably where someone like Hawkins does fit in. Yeah,
definitely. Edward Nash, Scouse, way past it. Look how quick our player was in the middle of the field. Sorry, I can't say a straight face. Edward Nash. Nathan,
I know what you mean. You mean you have to take a comment of his seriously. Yeah, he's still right though. He's still right. We're a lot faster without Scouse in there. To be fair, we'd be even faster without Nolan in there. I think Nolan sort of, had a bit of Scouse rubbing off on him. Hopefully that's not a story. But I mean, it's definitely slower play when Scouse is in there. The other players use the ball a lot quicker, faster, and they're more, they look for gaps. They go over the top faster. Scouse has never been that player, so he's certainly not going to become it now at X age, is he?
No, Nathan King. I think we'll keep hold of Downs, to be honest. Don't see them meeting our evaluation at all. David Pascoe, again, difference between the midfield was, I think that's more your point there, just there, Rob. Difference between the midfield was more incisive. So Tuesday night's coming up. It's another cup game. There's going to be changes, of which the Town fan base can't react too over the top. It's another cup game. There's a couple of young players that need to feature. So when it's another game, I can see the tweets from some big town accounts already about lottery numbers and etc. But from today's lineup, who do you expect to step out of it, and who do you want to see come into it?
Looking at maybe who hobbled off, I'd expect Chambers and Wolfley to be left out.
So who would you bring in to bring those? Obviously, Corey and Darber's a name that jumps out straight away.
Yeah.
But is it Junaid Dalassian at right back?
Yeah, maybe.
Is he fit?
I think he is.
Martin, I wouldn't even bother turning up on Tuesday, if I'm honest, but that's it.
As David rightly says, Lancaster gets some minutes on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Yes, who else was on the bench? Hughes. I'd like to see Hughes playing.
I think Hughes will be in. I think Gwion Edwards will be in. I was going to say Lancaster as well. I think you've got, I don't know what the deal is with El Mazzuni. I think Dobra's away.
He is, yeah. Do we feel, just jumping back to James News' comment here about midfield players needing to be offloaded, do you think Emmius Hughes may be one that's offloaded? Because it seems to me, and I don't know, I'm not Paul Lambert, that he doesn't seem to want to play him.
I don't think they'll offload any midfielders if Downs goes. I can see perhaps you've got a point there, but I mean, who's under contract? Who's going to pay money for him at this point?
A loan deal? I mean, it's Emmius Hughes, isn't it? The same way we look at him, other clubs will look at him and think, well, now he's fit, can he recapture that sort of form? He's only 26 still.
I would say I can see somebody going if Downs doesn't. That's where I stand on it.
Okay. I think also you're at risk of, if you get rid of Hughes, you're at risk of losing another potentially, I know he hasn't reached his potential with us, but you're at risk of losing another potentially quality player. We don't have many with proven quality in our squad, Judge being one, Hughes being the other. like Wolfie, I would say after last year, if we're losing Downs. For me, it was keep Downs or Wolfie this summer. So if we keep Wolfie, I'll be all right with it.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
You're running the risk of, if you lose quality players like that, to sort of fall back on and have there as the crux of the team when we need them. I take the point about the injuries though, and that he hasn't actually done anything for us yet.
No. A couple of more comments on Facebook. Nolan is the only player in the squad today who I didn't rate. And Robert Burnett, a brilliant point. Thank you for commenting. Positive way to start. Momentum is massive.
Agreed.
So with that in mind, is Tuesday also as big, despite the fact it's the only EFL trophy? Because you want to get into that habit, don't you? You want to keep winning, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Rob?
I'm going to completely contradict myself because I'm like, I don't really care about Tuesday, but actually, yeah, you're right. This is what we need. We need the confidence. The mistake he made last year was using the cup games as warm-ups and switching the teams around. That was where everything went wrong last year. So this year, unless we've got injuries, you've got to keep playing that best team possible to get the momentum and the confidence up.
Yeah. Rob?
He's got to stick to the core of the team. Like last year, he was changing the goalkeeper. Even Norris said that he was changing not so much the centre of defence, but he's changing the midfield all the time. There was no partnerships developing. There was no backbone of the team. Even at Sunday morning football, you've got 4 or 5 players who are always in it. Doesn't matter if they're sick from the night before or whatever it is. They play, don't they? And then the rest of them are interchangeable. You want to be seeing him making like 2, 3, maybe 4 changes tops, like not 6, 7.
So you would keep the goalkeeper for Tuesday night. You would not give New Boy Cornell his
if you're going to make changes in that kind of cup. I'm talking for the league here. Like the problem is that what Amy said, Lambert was doing that, making that number of changes in the league as well.
Yeah, he was.
You've got to give everyone minutes, okay? But don't change the whole team every week or 6, 7 players every week. I think he will change most of it on Tuesday. Haven't said that, but that's not a surprise for the leasing.com trophy in the first round, first game, is it? I mean,
no.
If you're going to make changes, that's where you want to see them, not week in, week out league, whatever.
Yeah. So while momentum is quite important, you don't necessarily want to go into Sunday's game with players not being fully fit or freshness being an issue. So do you take Arsenal on the 21s and just say, right, well, I'm going to rest key players here because we don't want a Wolfenden, for example, taking a big kick to his ankle like Chambers did and needing to go off or whatever. So do you take that and just say, right, whatever team is going to be played Tuesday is it, and it's 3-0 games for our young guns to come in and be played?
I'll go. I think I don't know, to a point, yes. Like you almost need to. I don't want to say write it off, but there is of the things on the agenda. It's behind the CARABAO Cup. It's at the moment. It's behind the league. So I would expect to see Cornell. I'd expect to see maybe someone said Simpson. That's not a bad shout. I don't know if he's fit, but if he's fit, I would maybe see it from the bench. Edwards, all these lads that didn't play today, and Dara. Trying to think who else is there now. Left back, perhaps Kenlock. There's a whole load of players that we didn't see. Hughes, as you said, perhaps McGavin. I don't know. Maybe leave Nolan in there. Nolan seems to be the player that's not coming out of today with much credit. Not for the first time.
No, not for the first time.
Leave him in there. Give him a second chance to earn that place for Sunday.
Okay, just as we round up, we've got Danny Castleton again on Facebook. Thank you so much for your contribution today, Danny. Dozell shouldn't be in starting lineup. I prefer Hughes and Bishop in the middle. And Eric Clacton. Obviously, the Wigan game is the marker, and that really is. But today there are some positives throughout. And if Downs does go, are you looking at a loan player? So you're both saying no to a loan player, or are you, if Downs goes?
I don't feel like we need one. I hate making predictions on signings because you just haven't got a clue what's going on with the club, do you? Sorry.
Rob?
I do think we're going to need someone in there to replace. That's what I think we need. However, whether we actually go and do it, I'm less confident about. I think we probably won't. I think if Downs goes, the money's there, but I don't see us spending it or getting a player on loan. But I do feel that we would need someone. Because at the moment you have to say from today probably Dozell is going to have that role. which is fine. But I do worry about us out of possession with him, with any of the midfielders apart from Downs, frankly, to be honest with you, even including Hughes, who's not a small guy. I don't think any of them are going to go really into battle for us. They're all more interested in playing football, which is great, but I worry about us out of possession. So I do think we need a gritty midfielder to replace Downs,
Yeah.
I don't see one coming in. You never can with Ipswich. I think our summer business is done. Inbound, anyway.
And just as we round up, another mention for Curtis Yates' artwork that I bought this week. Fantastic stuff. You can find him on Twitter, Amy. Now you're back there. Curtis Yates. I mean, that is a quality piece, to be fair. Only £10. There you go, Curtis. I've done you a favour. So we are done. We are dusted. Another match day ticket is in the books. Thank you so much to all your comments and for Mini Cruncher for appearing. And for those that asked for the link, thank you. Maybe next time. Join me tomorrow with Senior Cruncher and the media mogul of Matt Phillips on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, where we have our Talking Town podcast, where we go through today's game and we just speak about it again. They have their always passionate thoughts, and we go a bit more in depth on the last week of Ipswich Town. But thank you all for joining myself, Amy, and Rob, and we'll catch you all tomorrow, 1:30, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Look after yourselves. Enjoy your Saturday nights. I'm going to go for a lovely Green King IPA. Pint.